Aloha jam session. I'm your host, Tom Gaddis. I got my co-pilot, Richie Cronin, on as well. We are excited you're here. We got a great live show lined up for you. Today, we're going to be talking about the art of the upsell, how to get more out of your existing clients. Key piece, right, Richie?
Hey, it's just fundamental, and there's nothing better than selling to someone you've already sold to. It's kind of the lowest barrier, isn't it? So, I'm really excited about this topic. I love it.
It is, yeah. We're going to talk about that. We're going to do some shark shout-outs. We're going to take your questions. It's going to be an all-around good time. Grab a cool drink, sit back, relax. I'm going to cue up the intro. We'll see you back here in a couple minutes.
It's time, the moment you've been waiting for. Get ready for the fastest 60 minutes of marketing strategies and tactics to grow and scale your business from anywhere in the world. After 167 agonizing hours, we've returned for a brand new Aloha Marketing Jam session. And now, here are your hosts.
Oh, yeah. That crowd is fired up out there.
Hey.
Oh. Did you see that? My light.
Is it you? Is it me? Or is it Friday?
Wait. Settle down, everybody. Settle down. Oh, look. I hit a different song.
Yeah. That's a Friday
applause. Just all of a sudden, my left light over here just dimmed. I don't know why. Well, we'll do it partly in the dark, I guess. Hopefully it doesn't look too bad for you guys. Welcome, everybody. Let's see who is all out here in the... No one has said hello in the comments. Oh, there, Doug. What's up?
Doug.
Aloha, Doug.
We are not alone.
I see people coming in. There's Cameron. What's up, everybody? Aloha. Excited you're here. Today, we are going to be talking about offer stacking, how to multiply your sales using the ancient art of the upsell. You know, it's a key piece. It's interesting that we're talking about this today because one of the things that happened in the agency this past week is we had a client break up with us. So it's funny because they used a chat GPT crafted email. Like they wrote the email in chat GPT, and their contract actually ends on the 21st of this month. But they said they're like, this is the thing that you can drive yourself crazy trying to understand when you're a marketing agency. And that is the client is super happy with the results that we got them. Super happy. They're really, really pleased with the progress we made working together, but they've decided to go in another direction. You know, there's my little air quotes, in another direction. And, it's one of those things. What's up, Scott? What's up, Jacqueline? It's one of those things that, it just happens, right? Like this is the thing. You can do everything right. You can deliver results. You can be crushing it for a client, and the client can decide to leave for whatever reason, totally out of your control. You know, Nick and I kind of learned early on, this is why no matter how successful your agency is, client acquisition and client retention are such a focus, because this is going to happen. It's just, clients are going to come, clients are going to go. So, I know I have made the mistake of getting up a pool of clients and then kind of resting on my laurels because I've got plenty of clients. No need to be fire under my rear end.
I don't have to worry anymore.
Yeah. Oh, danger over. We've made that mistake before, and so a lot of a lot of the systems, the processes, the things we have in place with the prospecting and doing the things we do, like removing ourselves from the prospecting and all that stuff. And what we're going to talk about today, upselling clients, is so key because if you're not, you're going to do everything you can to keep your clients long-term, but if you can increase your initial sale value, right, that can help and go a long way to mitigating, the cash flow crunch you can feel when a client leaves or something like that. So
yeah, absolutely, and it's so important. And there's upselling, and then there's over promising and stuff as well. And that's it's a situation I found myself in, was I'm just like so keen to get more out of people and stuff, and that you start over promising on things, then your delivery's compromised as well. So there's two sides to making that and managing it correctly. And if you go into it with your eyes wide open, then an upsell is just pure value add, because you're already spending time on the account anyway. So if you can make that time more efficient, you can achieve more revenue from a smaller base of customers. That just it speaks to your productivity. So don't do what I did and go out and just promise the world, and then you have to run around like a headless chook trying to deliver on it. That's not actually an upsell. That's just creating a liability for you. So two very clear things there, eh?
Well, and yeah, you're right on point there. And the other thing really to keep in mind too is like the most expensive thing in your business, right, is normally taxes. But the second most expensive thing is acquiring a new customer, right? Like acquiring a new customer is hard. It's expensive. It takes, there's a lot that goes into that. So once you acquire a customer, getting maximum, there's two parts of this. One, delivering value to the client, but also, maximizing your ability to generate revenue from that client is super key. And we're not talking about just, throwing things on just to charge people extra money. Like, we don't do that. Like, we're going to bring value. It's going to be good stuff, usually related to, a real good thing is if you can relate it to what they've already purchased, that can be good too. And you'll notice too, like, we use this upsell strategy a lot in our client acquisition, because we typically come in with some type of foot in the door offer, with the whole goal being that, like, hey, we're going to do this thing that's super inexpensive, and then we're going to offer them a higher price thing on the back end. So it's really baked into a lot of stuff we do. Our client acquisition model, even at the agency, the services that we started with and how we decided to grow in the agency all came as a result of the upsell too, because, we talk a lot about, and I'm kind of going through all this stuff to just show you how all of these things that we talk about in our community and in our trainings and the various courses we put out and stuff like that, how all of it is interconnected, because it all works together, right? There's no one little piece that, can be more important than the other. They all kind of work together. So let's talk about what was I just saying there, Richie? I lost my train of thought when I wanted to say that.
You're talking about the bringing them into the agency, and then
so the services that we start with. So we talk about in our community as well. We talk about I'm losing the words are not coming to. We talk about activity-based services versus results-based services. And this comes,
good point.
This also kind of integrates in with the art of the upsell, because, at our agency, we started with an activity-based service. The reason we started with an activity-based service is because it can be easier to sell, right? When you're new and you're just trying to get your foundation under you and all that stuff, results-based services can be a bit of a challenge, because you have no track record, you've got no portfolio, you've really got no confidence in your ability to consistently deliver. And when I talk about results-based services, I'm talking about things like SEO, I'm talking about things like pay-per-click ads. Our approach when we were starting our agency was to focus on an activity-based service. In our case, it was building websites. And the reason that's an activity-based service is because the person hires you to build a website, you build the website, and they pay you. Like, there's no connection to the results of the website, right? Like, once they pay you for the website, if no one ever comes to that website, it doesn't affect you getting paid. So you're getting paid for the activity. Social media management is another activity-based service. So our strategy when we were getting our agency off the ground was, okay, we're going to do this activity-based service. We picked websites because we just ran into a lot of people that needed help with their websites. A lot of people that had web developers that went dark. It seemed to be the most easiest to start striking up conversations, right? So, but the nice thing about websites as an activity-based service is it's a natural lead-in to additional services. So once you build a website, what's the next thing the person needs? Well, they need people to come to the website. So they need SEO, right? They need to get the word out on their social media. So social media management is a part of that. Maybe they want to drive traffic using pay-per-click. So it's a natural progression, right? And this is the first underlying strategy of the art of the upsell. And that is whatever the initial thing is you're selling, your upsell will be really effective if it solves the next problem, right? Whenever you do something for someone, whenever you provide a service, it usually creates a new problem, right? So if you can solve that new problem, then you'll have an effective upsell path, right? So when somebody has a website built, they now have a new problem. They need to get eyes on the website, right? If you are doing like lead generation and you're sending leads to a business and all of a sudden you're giving them a lot of business and they have a new problem, they can't handle the business, right? If you're a lead generation company, like you might want to offer some type of consulting to help them handle the new workload, right? Because you've created a new problem for them and you just happen to have a solution to that new problem. So the problem solution model is what they call that, right? And almost anything that you sell, you can always find that by having success with whatever it is you're selling, it generates new problems for the person. And so you can fix those problems, right?
That is exactly what I've put into my own business as well. Is we focus on Google optimization, Google business profiles, and we optimize them, and we do it over a time frame, 90 days, because we get results in that time frame. We don't get them in 30 days. We get them between 60 and 90 days. And the other thing is that because we offer a full management service where we are replying to their reviews for them, we're doing all of those things, we are leading them on to, well, do we just stop at 90 days? Or we wind up with a reoccurring revenue stream that comes from that as well. And the idea of that is to actually then get into SEO, PPC, those other key things that build a much more bigger and more valuable customer. So we might, get a good sale up front for that 90-day service, but it's actually the long-term stuff that we're really looking for, and the conversion from those customers to being SEO, PPC, all of those things as well means we're going from $300 a month to $1,000, $1,500 a month is where we're trying to land with these clients. So that's the whole idea. The strategy was always built around building long-term revenue as opposed to just making one-off sales.
Yeah, and so I think that's one part, right, of the art of the upsell is thinking about what your customer's journey is, where they're going, what the new pain points are going to be, all that stuff for the upsell path. Another thing you can do before that is really just think. Well, so here's a good example of like there can be something tied into your service too. And I just had to go to Safelite Auto Glass to have a chip repaired in a window. And one of the things that the upsell that they do is they say, whenever you have your windshield repaired, you should always replace your wipers, because not having good wipers on a repaired windshield can cause problems. Now, I have no idea if that's true or not, right? But as the customer on the phone, you're like, oh, well, if you think I should do that, then let's just go ahead and do it, right? Like they're the experts on auto glass, right? So they're coming from a position of authority, right? And most people are not going to question that authority. They're just going to say, oh, well, if you tell me that's what I should do, then I'll do it, right? And maybe that's a something that is good for them. Maybe it's not absolutely necessary. I don't know, but that's an example that I just had with another business. So, like, here's a couple of things you could do in the terms of local marketing. So, if you're building a website, speed optimization, right? Like that could be something, adding additional things to the website. Like, hey, we're building this website. You probably want to have a blog. You probably want to have some blog posts. One thing we can do is, we'll build the website, and for an additional $100, we'll provide you with 8 blog posts that you can drip out over the next, 8 months or whatever that is, right? So there's also layers to the service that you're offering. So, maybe, with websites, maybe you have a pre-built website that's one price. An upsell could be a custom site. Or, if they're coming in for a custom site, you may have a base price for a 5-page website, and then you're upselling additional things, right? Like if you want to, other good things, like you should have a video on your homepage. We can do the video production, like those types of things, right? So there's that type of upsell. There's the customer journey upsell. And then also too, there's just like the, hey, let's get our foot in the door with something, and then we're going to sell additional services on top of that. So one of the things we've been emailing about this week is the mailer card, right? This is one of the things I used to get I got 14 clients with this thing in 7 days, right? Because there's 14 ad spots on this. And I don't know if you guys can see this, but the one I have in my hand, this is the one that's branded to our Hawaii Thrive resource site. So this we do in conjunction to the resource site. So a couple of upsell strategies that I'll talk about, the upsell strategy I used in the beginning. So my goal with this card was not to make a bunch of money. My goal with this card was to start a relationship with the local businesses in my area and then offer them additional services. So a lot of times when I sold a spot on this card, and then once the card went out, I built up some credibility. I would then go back to the people on the card and say, hey, while I was putting your ad together, I noticed that your website looks a little outdated, or you don't have a website, or you're not posting to social media. And I would sell my digital services, that was the profit center, right? This card was not meant, I made money with it, right? Like this is what was great. I made money with it. It's a profitable client getting technique. Like you will generate profit with this thing. But that really wasn't my ultimate goal. My ultimate goal was to sell the additional services on the back end, get recurring people in and all that stuff, right? So that's how I would use this card. And then what we do now is whenever we're following our business verification method, which is if you guys have our agency growth machine training, when we set up a resource site, or if you have the reach training, right? When we set up a resource site, we offer people a free listing on the site. And so when they get their online listing, we verify their business information either via the phone or via cold email. And so one of the things that we would do when we're bringing in the free listings is we would call the person to verify the free listing. And at the end of that call, we would say, by the way, we were doing a co-op mailer with several companies from the site, and we're going to send out 10,000 direct mail pieces. We only have 14 spots. We have hundreds of businesses on the site. We can only include 14 people on the mailer. It's super inexpensive because it's co-op. Would you be interested in more information? And we picked up a lot of mailer spots that way, right? Yeah. And I know, Richie, you're working on an upsell path with this too, with the cold email, right?
Yeah. It's and varying degrees of success, but I think the biggest problem I've encountered is too small a fishing pond, and so I've been focused on just East Nashville and really with my new multi-site that's coming online, go all of Nashville, then being able to sort of target a larger area means you get a lot quicker uptake, because the biggest problem I've found with it is just the time to market. And you get people that put their hand up straight away, no problem. It's a great add-on sale, and we use it in two ways. One, that we've met someone who isn't on a featured listing on East Nash, And so we'll do a package deal where we, hey, you can take a spot on this, we'll put you in that as well, et cetera, et cetera. Or the other way around, the ones that have taken premium, then we go to them and say, hey, we're doing this, your first cab off the rank, and so that goes both ways. And I was using automation, which I obviously love with my Reach machine, to shoot a video and send it to them through that Reach machine, just saying, look, we've got this mailer coming up and stuff. And, we did a blanket campaign for that, and we got a couple of spots out of that straight away. So there's ways of leveraging it, but it goes both ways. You can sell the mailer and then have the other thing back that up, or you sell the other thing and then have the mailer back that up as well. And but the whole idea is just to start working with people, because then you open up to all those other opportunities as well.
Yeah, and there's also like you can do upselling for the mailer itself just through like bigger spots, right? Like you can have smaller spots, bigger spots, things like that. All these are about the same size. But one of the things that we've been emailing about this week is I actually did a training where I show you exactly how to do this. Like I just go through the whole thing, exactly how I did it, what I did, all of, if you can just watch that training and then go out and do this yourself. Like, and it's a little, everything, I guess what I'm trying to say is everything's in the training. You're not going to watch the training and be like, oh, well, now I don't know how to do X, Y, Z. Like I show you how I outsourced all the ad design. I show you how I outsourced the printing. Literally all I do is go out and sell the mailer spots, and then everything else is handled by somebody else. And, on a 14 spot card like this, I make somewhere between, $2,000 to $4,000 in profit, depending on what I price the ads out. And I go through the whole pricing strategy and all that. So I'll put a link here at the bottom if you guys want to go check out that training.
Yeah, I think there's a couple of people asking where is that and what is it, and there was someone else asking, can I get a copy of the card? I think in that is everything, isn't it, Tom? You can get the layout and everything else, and Yeah,
you can. We do. I mean, just to be upfront with you guys, we do at the end of the training, I do have like an actual full-fledged course that we put together that shows how we do everything, right? And with that, it's not expensive at all. It's probably one of the least expensive things we sell. But when you get that course, we actually send you samples that you can use. Actually, I should have grabbed these. Let me grab one. I'll show you guys.
Okay, I'll dance a jig, entertain while we're there. But I think mailers are a fantastic addition to having a community resource site and those things. It's kind of a no-brainer extension of it.
Yeah, well, this is what we had made for that course. Sorry, my dog is going crazy, and I'm not sure why. So we had these made. This card right here is generic. These are not real businesses on this card, okay? And these ads were actually built using done-for-you templates that are included with the course. So not only will we send you 10 of these printed cards, and then we send you 2 of these, which just have the spaces, the size of the spaces.
Yeah.
So this is what I would take with me to sell the spaces. And what I would do is, look, Richie's got one laminate, the old laminate. So by the way, you don't have to have this. You can do exactly what Richie did. Like, and this is what I talk about on the training. You just go to Office Max. You can have it printed up, and you just have it laminated.
It cost. I think it cost me about $8 or $10, and actually I've got this. This is A3, so I blew it up. So it looks a lot more obvious when you're standing there talking to someone, and then we use the stickers for confirmed spots, and tentatively they're taking it. Typically, an orange one is we just want to make sure there's interest in it. When we're walking in the door, so we make it look like we're quite a wee way through this. You better hurry up and jump on board, But
that's actually what I was gonna talk about next was, and I'm glad Richie showed them one again with the stickers. So this was a little strategy that I used because no one wants to be the first person to be on the card. So I actually had they were a little bigger stickers, but I would just put like I would write down the names of the businesses that I was going to go talk to that day. I'd write down like 3 or 4 of them, and I would just stick them on various spots. So when I would go in to show the person, I would say, look, I'm doing this mailer. I have these spots available. And I would never say anything about the stickers. I never said a word about them. And what's surprising is no one ever asked me about them. But they assume that that sticker is that business bought that spot. And so it just gets you past that. I don't want to be the first. And I didn't feel like I was doing anything shady because I always went and talked to those businesses. And most of the time they signed up anyway. So, but that was a little tactic I would use to kind of create some scarcity and urgency. But you can see all of these are branded. They're just branded generic shop local. And yeah, you get these templates and everything. But yeah, so we send out 10 with the ads and 2 that are blank that you can use for prospecting when you pick up the course. So yeah.
I'm working with a guy looking to put him on in the new year to just sell mailers.
Well, you know, and this is a great time to do the mailer because the new year is coming up, right? People want to hit the ground running with their marketing right out of the gate. So, you know, doing a mailer, like starting to prospect for a mailer now that you're going to send out in January is, I think, a great time. So yeah, a great time to do it.
But I think there's especially with that multi-site platform, 24, 25 locations. We will just keep cycling through them all year long because if you can do 2 or 3 mailers in an area in a year, fantastic. If you can do 1 in all those areas as well, I mean that's probably a good 20 mailers that would be getting out the door next year anyway. But if you can start building up that database, and of course that database is going to be about premium featured listings, other things as well, other services and stuff. So we very keen on it. I think it's the cornerstone of a good community resource site is offering mailers. It's a great upsell.
Yeah, and Scott Meisner, who's in our group, I mean, he crushes it, right?
Like he's over 1 million or something this year. He's done 1 million mailer copies this year. He's got
a little bigger layout and all the things like that. But
yeah, he does a jumbo format and but the way that he celebrates the people that join him in mailers and stuff as well. I follow him online and he really celebrates local customers and he's becoming a real local business champion as well. And that's I think that's part of the whole process. He's building a lot of trust and integrity with all of those businesses and they are coming back and buying more. So it's great system, Scott.
Yeah, really good stuff. So if you go to offlinesharks.com/revealed, it will take you to this page. And on this page, you can register for the training. And again, I show you everything on the training. So like, I'll just show you exactly how to do it all, what to do, what to say, all that stuff. So
Has that photo been airbrushed or something? Have you been out in the sun? You've been tanned up, mate.
It's not been airbrushed. But that was a picture in Maui, right? So a little more of a tan.
Yeah.
So you go here, register. You can watch the whole training. Again, what I like about this training in general is that you can just take what I show you on the training and go out and do this yourself. So, you can have a card printed, laminated, super inexpensive. And just get out and start selling. So it's something that can start putting cash in your pocket super fast. So I'm going to answer some other questions here. So Sandy said, so Cameron wrote, our operations manager. He actually does the printing for us. So I don't know if a lot of you know this, but Cameron actually owns a printing company in Michigan called Michigan Mailers. And Cameron actually does mailers in his area as well. This is so Cameron and I have known each other for a long time. He's also a magician, and we used to have the same mentor back in Michigan. And one time when I
heard about people, honestly, I did not know he had the printing company, and I did not know he was he's a magician as well.
It's hard to get him to do a trick, but that's how I met him. And so one time when I was up visiting our mentor friend, I showed Cameron what I was doing. I was like, look, I'm doing this mailer. This is way before Offline Sharks or anything like that. And I was like, I gave him some of the cards I was using, and he went out and started doing the mailers himself. And then he started his little printing company. And so he had that going. And then when we started doing Offline Sharks, I was like, hey, we were looking for 18 players to come in because the company was growing. And I was like, Cameron, why don't you come in and would you be interested in doing operations for us? So he's been doing that. So yeah. So he can still do that, give you printing and pricing and all that stuff.
I think he was Cameron was one of the first people I talked to at Offline Sharks. Before I talked to you and Nick, I talked to Cameron. Wonderful guy.
He's a great guy.
Company. Yeah, but I did not know he was a magician as well. It's going to be good. I'm going to bait him into doing a trick now. Yeah.
Dorn Patches hates the UPS guy. I don't know what it is he has against UPS specifically, but he doesn't bark at the regular post trucks or the regular post person, but man, the UPS people, he goes bonkers. So
must be it'd be the uniform.
Well, and Dorn, this is great too. You can just use a Post-it note.
Yeah, and that's what I used to do. I used to just put Post-it notes on them and then write the name of something, and or you put a Post-it note and just go sold, and no one has to ask the question. It's and then I went, hey, stickers actually look a bit more professional, so I went to colored stickers.
I saw somebody's asking about the salesperson, so I think I talk about this in the training because I started outsourcing the sales process a couple of ways. One was with a full-time sales rep, a guy that I had met online that was in Maui, and he became my salesperson. I learned this the hard way, the valuable piece of information that Dorn gave you in the comments, but one of the things you're going to do, like you can absolutely get somebody to do this commission-based, okay? And this is a great thing for them because it's super easy to fill. You can give them the samples to go out and show. If you know somebody that's just a decent, like it really doesn't take anything to sell this thing, right? Like it really doesn't. It's like you don't have to do anything fancy. You just go in and you say, look, this is what I'm mailing out. We're sending it to 10,000 homes. Here's the ad spots. Which one do you want? Like, it's really that straightforward. And, but what you should do is if you bring somebody on to do this with you, do not pay out their commissions until they fill all the spots. Mm-hmm. So I made a mistake of trying to help somebody out because they were tight on money, and I was paying them the commissions as they were selling the spots, and they sold like 8 spots and collected the money, and then they just disappeared.
Yeah.
So,
very important to, complete the whole thing. And if it can be time framed, the way that I do it is, pay commission on selling the whole spots. And if you can do it in 10 days, 2 weeks, whatever it may be that suits your printing needs and everything else as well, then pay a bonus on top of that as well. It's like, you can get this thing closed out by next Friday. Then, there's another $700 as a bonus for you as well. So
and that's a great strategy to use a bonus. And then the other thing I did with the sales part was I still did the sales, but I hired an appointment setter to set the appointments. So I hired an appointment setter to call, do the business verification method. And at the end, she'd say, by the way, we're doing a mailer. In my case, I was building the directory at the time. So I didn't even have a directory site live. But I had an appointment setter call and say that we're in the process of building a directory for Kihei, and your business is going to be featured on it. Don't worry, it's free, but we do want to make sure we have all of your business information correct. So do you have a minute? Is this your business name, address, phone number? They would say all that was good. And then at the end, she would say, by the way, as part of our launch of the new site, we're going to be sending out a mailer to 10,000 residents, but we can only feature 14 businesses. Would you be interested? And that's how we were selling the spots. And then she would book an appointment, and then I would go and close the deal. So, and you'll see this in the training. I don't mind giving it all away, but you definitely want to go watch the training because I go through all the details of this. Like I get in depth about all the things you need to know. But if you're in the US, there's a special postage program called EDDM, which stands for Every Door Direct Mail. Yeah. And it allows you to mail these jumbo postcards super inexpensively. It's less than it's the cheapest way to mail anything. And the reason, and I go through this in the training, I don't know if you can see this here, but in this corner, there's this little, it's called an indicia. And this indicia is basically means that this can be mailed without postage. Do you see that on Richie's? So that's just a generic, it says U.S. postal customer. So when you print that on the cards, you don't need a stamp. You don't need postage. You don't need to have the person's address. You don't have to buy a mailing list. Like, basically, the way this works is you tell your post office, like, I want to put these in every mailbox in these neighborhoods. And they have a tool that I'll show you in the training that allows you to select the neighborhoods you want. And then all they do is you just drop these cards, or you just have them sent directly to the post office, and they put the boxes in the mail truck. And as the carrier goes around, they just put one in every mailbox of the neighborhoods that you selected. So they don't go through the sorter. It's super fast when you drop these things off at the post office, or they arrive at the post office. They're in the mail the next day. It's faster than first class mail. It's got a 100% open rate. I used to love to say that, because a great way to get customers for this is to save your Valpak and see who's advertising in Valpak, and then go talk to them. And so I would tell people, like, I would ask them, what's the open rate on Valpak? And Valpak, of course, says it's like 70% or whatever. And I'd say, well, my open rate is 100%, because when they put this in the mailbox, they just kind of bend it like this. They don't crease it. And they usually put their other letters in the middle. So when people take it out of the mailbox, it's already open. So it's 100% open rate. Almost everyone will look at it, see what's on it. They'll stick it on their fridge.
It's the curiosity factor as well. They haven't seen something like that before.
It comes out of your mailbox.
And that's the beauty of great local businesses that have, like unique, and they've got, something good that's eye-catching, is that people will look at it and go, oh, what's all this? Because they've never seen anything like it before. So the interest factor is there. Now, I've cold, every door mail. Typically, something like that always runs at about 1.5 to 2%. So just using those numbers right, 2%, 10,000 homes, that's 200 customers is the reaction from it. So as far as a sales story goes, when I'm talking to a business owner and stuff, it's like, well, what's your average sales? So it might be like your tanning salon there, Tom, and you pop on in there and it's $70 a visit. Well, 200 customers at $70, and I'm asking for $550. It's a no-brainer. It's an easy sell. So that's but then what's the life of that customer worth to that business as well? Even if they only got 40 new customers, they've more than paid for it. But of those 40 customers, how often do they come back? And what's the lifetime value of finding a new customer? And that's the story that I paint, and that's how we run it, because it's actually you're building value over a long period of time, and they've only got to make one small initial spend.
Yeah, and for most businesses, like especially if you get a business that has a pretty good high ticket value, like they just need usually just one or two customers from a 10,000 mailing will put them in the green, depending on what your pricing is and stuff like that. I see a couple of questions here that I want to get to real quick. There was something else I was going to say about this. Oh, the other thing too is like, if you pay attention to who's sending direct mail in your neighborhood, let's say that you charge $800 for a spot. That's only 8 cents. That's only 8 cents per mail piece. Like, you can't get a stamp for 8 cents. So not for 8 cents, they get the printing, the ad for 8 cents per mail piece. Like, that is a super crazy deal. If anyone has done direct mail, they will be like, just feel like it's a steal. So what was that one you were showing there, Richie? That's
I collect all the mail that comes in. Yeah. I put it in a container, a box under my desk here, and keep, because there are some that you're like, oh, that's interesting that they're sending out as well. Then you get ones that have got like 2 different businesses on them. This one here is more of a chain environment, so that's probably not something we're going to go and target. But if it's there was one the other day, it was like an HVAC company, and they're sending out to every place, and then they had a bit on it saying free money, and I thought, well, if you're into free money, then I'm the guy for you. So yeah, we turn around and make a pitch at them and just go, hey, what are you paying for that service? Can we do this, and can we do this stuff for you as well? Because you don't ask, you don't know, and maybe they're looking for more locally based stuff that's a bit more targeted for them.
Yeah, super good for people targeting local businesses. And one of the reasons that I did this in Maui was because everyone in Maui was, and here this can be another strategy lesson for you guys out there and you ladies. Everyone in Maui, all of the marketing agencies target the tourist businesses and the tourists because that's the biggest influx, right? Mm-hmm. Millions of tourists come every year. That's where the big pile of the money is. But what I realized was there's a group of local businesses that tourists do them no good, like the pet stores, the pizza places, the places that like the people that want local business that are trying to really, and they had no options. There was no options for them to advertise because the only printed media that was out there were the tourist magazines. So whenever I walked into a business that really relied on local people, they freaking loved this because it was the only game in town. Nobody else was doing that. So, and that was a strategic decision on my part. That's the reason I started doing this in the first place, was because I realized there was a hole in the market, right? Now, I'm not going to make as much money as targeting the tourist businesses, and we target tourist businesses in the agency now because that's where the money is. But to get traction, to get started, and to generate some cash flow, it was great.
Yeah. And same point, Tom, is what we're looking at here in Nashville is actually doing a mailer, B2B, businesses to other businesses. So we send out a mailer to 10,000 businesses. And if you're a printing service, for example, you're a CPA, there are so many businesses that are just there for other businesses that when do you ever see them actually advertise collectively to a large group of other business owners? Plus, also, I mean, that's a pretty good database to have as well. And if you turn around and go, look, we've got 10,000 businesses on our books, we can send out to. It can be a higher value sale as well, as opposed to what might be just a local business and that. You're businesses to businesses, where we've gone and done the work and found out owners and other things. Then that could be a really high value ticket item to go and sell to businesses that only service other businesses.
Yeah, and Jacqueline, I do encourage them to put an offer on, and we usually want the offer to be good. So there's a direct correlation between, a great offer getting results and a not so good offer. And sometimes customers can be worried because you're mailing out 10,000 and they think there's going to be this flux of business if their offer is really great, but that fear is unfounded. So a lot of times I try to handle those expectations with people, and I say, look, I know you think 10,000 is a lot, but this really is kind of a shotgun approach, right? Like we're just blanketing an area. So even though we're sending out 10,000, like we do want to make sure we have a really good offer so you can pull in. And I know the pizza place, they got the most in out of anyone, and they would get around 300 coupons back. They had like a $5 off a pizza thing. But I would tell most people, like on average, you can expect, anywhere from, depending on your pricing and your offer, maybe 5 up. Right. So I try to keep the expectations super, super realistic and low, knowing that if they get 5 people in, that's a win. They're going to be profitable, but they're probably going to get way more than that so that we'd over deliver. Yeah. So that's how I would do that. And also too, in the course, I have a little booklet that I put together that's like the A to Z best offers. So it's all the niches you can think of from A to Z. And then in each one, there's the best offers for that niche. So there's like accounting, auto detailing, and then what are common good offers for that. Yes, the post office always raising pricing. So this is interesting. I saw Scott made a post on his Facebook the other day because he said, look, the post office, the United States Post Office, is raising the prices, but I'm not raising my prices because I don't think that'd be fair to small businesses. So he used the price increase as an advantage, which I thought was great.
Very, very smart. And and he's leveraging off that. And that's the idea. You could just say nothing and carry on. you get nothing back from it. He's leveraging off it by saying, I don't think anyone needs to be, you don't need to be paying me anymore. We'll absorb this and carry on. So again, everything he does it with good thought and great process as well.
Yeah. If you guys want to get a hold of Cameron, you can just shoot an email to Cameron@offlinesharks.com. I know he has an email for the printing company, but I don't know it off the top of my head. So the name of his company is Michigan Mailers. If you have the coupon course, inside the course, there's a list of recommended printers. He's one of them. There's also recommended designers, all that stuff in there. So we didn't hold anything back.
Cool.
I don't know what PDF download you're talking about, Les. I'm not sure what's there.
It must be a copy of the thing itself.
Oh yeah, I can't remember. I think I give something away in the training, like you can go download it, but I don't know what the link is off the top of my head, or I don't really remember what it was. Just go watch the training, offlinesharks.com/revealed. All the questions you guys are asking about, how do I position this? How do I sell it? How do I get other people to sell it? How do I handle the printing? How do I handle the postage? How do I handle the design? I cover all of that in the training. Like, I will show you how I do all of that in the training. I don't hold anything back. I just spill the beans on everything. So you'll learn it all. The training's only about an hour. If nothing else, it's good to just know the method, right? Like, I used this one time because I was taking the kids to Disneyland, and I was like, boy, it'd be nice to have a couple of extra $1,000 to go to Disneyland. So I just did a mailer, and I generated a couple extra grand to just go. So yeah. Cool. All right. So look, I'm going to go through here. I want to answer a couple more questions, and then I want to do some shark shout outs.
Yeah. Hey, one thing you can add to it as well when you're doing that promo offer and stuff is leverage technology. Put a QR code in it that directly feeds to a website or a sign up or a contact form, because the one thing that business owners really want is more customer database. So encourage those things, and as opposed to, I've never been one for clipping out a coupon, and it's not the promise that we make in delivering this thing as well. We'll use a QR code to go straight to a landing page on your website, et cetera, and validate an offer that way.
Yeah. And I don't know who this is, but he says, years ago, I used to sell buzz cards at restaurant menus. Yeah, I actually talked to a guy that did this with restaurant tables. So what he did was he sold ad spaces, and he covered the whole tops of the tables with ad spaces and then had them laminated that way. And so he would give the tables to the restaurants for free. So he would go to a restaurant and be like, hey, I will give you the tables. And then he would just sell all the ad spots on the tables. And then that's how he made his money. And then I have a friend here in Las Vegas who I'm going to have on the live show sometime, but he has an agency here in Vegas. They're doing $3 million a year. And he's basically doing this card on the side of trucks. So you can, like, when you see a truck driving down the highway and it's got the ad for a company on it, that's what he sells. And so he has trucks that go all over the US, and companies can buy different routes, right? And so the truck may have an ad for Bud Light on the side, but inside the truck is not Bud Light. They're just buying the space, right? So his company's called In Motion, but I think his least, it's high dollar. Like, I think his smallest client is like 75 grand. And he's just killing it. And the other thing that they do, which I think is so sneaky, is they actually put what's the geo things in the truck. So like when your car is driving by the truck, it's also collecting your cell phone ID so that you can be retargeted with ads online.
Oh,
right?
That's clever. That is clever.
So like it's not just the truck. It's like they also, like, you see the truck and then you start getting hit with that ad. So really, really clever what he's doing. I've been wanting to get him on here to talk about it because he's a super great guy. And anyway, really interesting what he's doing. Kurt, I do not. It is too, that's just too complicated. Like, you can absolutely do that if you want, but like my goal was just collect some money, get some clients. Like, I didn't want to overcomplicate the process. Everything that we've talked about today is inside the course. That's the great thing about this strategy is it is evergreen, evergreen. Like, so everything we've talked about today is in there. Let me see. So Doug, now, you know, when I was at the height of doing all this, right, this was all like, now that COVID has happened and people are more used to seeing things like QR codes and going other places, like I would use those now. I tried to use QR codes in the beginning and didn't have much success, but I think it's because most people don't know what they are. But with COVID having happened and so many people used to scanning QR codes, I mean, I was just at a restaurant 2 days ago and you still scan the QR code to get the menu, right?
Yeah.
So
well, that's the one thing that COVID gave us was taught everyone how to use Zoom and taught everyone what a QR code was and what it's actually used for. So, you know, great additions to, especially from a digital marketing point of view. We've got common acceptance of these things now, so they're worth bringing there. With we charge $75 to do a QR code on one of our mailer spots. You know, it's another upsell.
Great upsell, right? We've been talking about upsells on this show. Yeah. Like, what a great upsell! Like, look, we'll put your ad on the card, but if you want to add a QR code, it's an additional $50, right? If you want to add you could also add text, something they could text to get the thing, right? Could charge them for the list. So JC, with Every Door Direct Mail, you cannot target only businesses. You either have to do residential only or residential and business. But Nick and I did several mailings where we just bought a list of businesses in Maui and we mailed directly to the businesses. Yep. Nope, Wayne, this is not an this is CCSU. So if you have CCSU, you're good. Mid-Michigan Mailers. That's Cameron's. Yeah, Mid-Michigan Mailers. That's the name of this company.
Sounds cold.
Yeah. Les says he did table advertising for 10 years. Yeah. I mean, there's lots of different ways you could do this, right? Like, I want you to think about this. If you have kids in school and your kids do a fundraiser, why not do this for the fundraiser? If you went to your PTA or your kids' football team, softball team, volleyball, my daughter's doing volleyball, and you said, hey, look, I'll show you guys how to do this, and you just will do it, we'll pay for it, and you guys keep all the money. Like, they could raise a few $1,000s doing something like this for as a charity thing, right? Think about that. Okay, so a couple things. Boy, what did I tell you, Richie? That hour flew by, didn't it? I told you. I was telling Richie, I was like, well, maybe we might try to end about 15 minutes early because I'm supposed to go down after the live show and meet David Calaflor from Delicious Marketing. He's in town. He's at the Bellagio. So I'm going to go down and meet him after. And I was like, I might try to get out 15 minutes early. I was like, every time I say that, though, we go over.
Is he gambling?
No, I don't think so. I don't think so.
Okay.
Oh, well, Jordan, that's crazy. That's crazy.
Oh no.
Yeah.
Should we shout some shout outs?
We're going to do some shout outs. We're going to wrap up the live show. A couple things here at the end. One, Patty, I don't have the book with me. I left it in my daughter's car yesterday, but I have been reading a book that's kind of hard to find. It's called, let me, hold on. Let me see if I can pull it up here. And I want to mention this because of the holidays. And I will show you why. So I'm going to share my screen here. So it looks like there's some available on Amazon. But this is something I've been reading lately. It's by Jerry Gillies. It's called Money Love, How to Get the Money You Deserve for Whatever You Want. If you guys have watched this show for a while, you know another book I recommend a lot is The Trick to Money is Having Some. These are really books about your mindset and your emotional relationship to money. Think like Think and Grow Rich. Like Think and Grow Rich is kind of the granddaddy of these types of books. But this one was recommended by John Carlton, and I had never read it. So I got it, and I've been reading it and going through it. And it's been really good, especially during the holidays when, money stress can be so high. I found a lot of the things in here have alleviated a lot of that stress for me and helped me to kind of see things in a different light. So one of the things that I found particularly interesting in this book, Patty, is they actually have a chart, and you go in and you rate like why you're your work. You go in and say like, am I doing my work for money, for survival, for luxuries? Am I doing it to help people? And rating these things, it gives you kind of a good feeling of why you're doing what you're doing and what you like about your job. And then you go in and rate like what you want your ideal career to be like. And I don't know, I found that stuff to help me get motivated. Again, a lot of the money love principles, the little exercises they do have just helped me to kind of stay even though it's the holiday season and, you're spending a lot of money, you're trying to make money, like all these things going on. Like I have found my success has really grown the more that I kind of look at my personal relationship to money, what I'm trying to do, what I really want to do, because look, I mean, the reality is, it's my life. Like I need to know what I want to get out of that life. And, it's not necessarily making the most money possible. For me, there's other things that are more important, quality of life, being able to
hit the nail on the head, Tom. It's about when you sit down and really think about what is your relationship with money, because it's something that's intrinsically personal. And you might have a very tight group, yourself, your wife, partner, chosen, all those things. But your relationship with money, and we kind of learn it at a young age about what the relationship with money is. And a lot of people, their parents never taught them because their parents never taught them either. So getting your head around it and really starting to understand what is my relationship with money? How do I think about these things and how do I act with it? And those things, you can change a lot of really good things that will set you up for the rest of your life, And I think it's a great topic, and certainly something that people should go and read it.
Yeah, you don't remember, I didn't realize how much of my views and things on money came from my parents and experiences I had when I was a kid, that aren't reality today, right? That and aren't the views that I want to have about money and things like that. So, that book and the other one that I mentioned, which if you go to offlinesharks.com/books, you can see all the books you recommend. And I think that Trick to Money one is on there. But those two books have been just really helpful to me. And of course, Think and Grow Rich, which I read a long time ago, is another really great one as well. But, I really firmly believe that if we want to be better in our business, we have to be better people. I mean, that's just my experience. The more I work on myself, the better my external success in business has been. So for me, when we talk about business growth and success and all those things, to me, everything is connected. My personal growth is directly connected to what happens there. So I'm constantly working on myself, trying to be a better person, trying to do better things, trying to improve my mindset and stuff like that. So there's just another way to do it.
I found my answer. I stole the money tree from my wife's desk and brought it into my office.
There you go.
And this thing, it's got so much new growth on it. It is just going crazy. It obviously loves being with me more than Mandy. And the money tree is doing its thing, so yeah.
Yeah. Awesome. Yeah. I always forget that our wives have the same name.
Yeah. Yeah. No,
Okay, cool. So I want to do some shout outs. Let's talk about some wins. Let's talk about some money love. And let's do some shout outs. And let me go through these real fast. And then we're going to wrap this live show up. I'm going to get down, meet Dave. So this week, and look, here's another great thing. If you want to really work on your prosperity mindset, your consciousness, go in the Facebook group, look up the hashtag wins, do that on a daily basis. Really lather yourself in the success of others and what they're doing, and doing that on a daily basis, I personally believe can help you as well. So up first, Oliver Leka, $9,000 for a 3-month SEO project with an indoor playground manufacturer, with an opportunity for a $2,500 a month deal if they're satisfied.
Awesome.
He sold a new SEO client in French Canada for 2,100 euros this month and 997 euros each month in a 3-month initial contract. And he helped a business create their Google Business Profile listing, 100 pounds. That's a total of $14,647. Man, what a win, right? What a win.
Yeah.
David Wheeler landed a website client, $500. Said it took the client almost a year to commit, but they finally did. That is some determination, perseverance, and patience, David. Working that client for a year. Awesome job. We've got Randy Bett, a website redesign for local nonprofit, 3,000 Canadian plus $768 a year for hosting, and a flat fee of $75 an hour for any updates or revisions after month 1 of delivery. Solid win, Randy. Solid win. Joanne Smith created 2 email marketing campaigns for a new client that wanted more sales for their e-com store, $1,000 Australian.
Sweet.
Awesome work, Joanne. This was awesome. Chris, who's one of our Remote Millionaires members, posted this, and I know Nick posted this in the Facebook group as well, but Chris has been in RM for 6 months. He kind of did a little look back, right? So he received another premium listing, also received a few foot in the door responses from a follow-up blast. So Chris is implementing Reach, which is what we have all of our Remote Millionaires implement for client acquisition. He stated he now has a viable agency. He's got SOPs in place. He has a team to fulfill his services. He has an amazing lead machine, and he has services that are much easy to deliver and more effective in serving his clients. So he's able to deliver results for his clients with confidence, right? So he said, look, it's 6 months in. He's looking back. He has a company. He did it with consistent action, even though he only has a few hours. So he did this all with only a few hours per week. Chris works a full-time job, just so you guys know. So a few hours a week.
I've spent a lot of time with Chris, and all of it is just so enjoyable because he is not only is he positive, but he's an action taker. He just gets off and does it. He's taught me some really, really valuable additions to my Reach machine. He dialed in the process really well and said, look, I think about doing this with a welcome video and stuff, and I've just executed it sort of 100%. With my latest Wellington send out, and it deliberately got us another 7 or 8 featured upgrades, premium listings, because of the way that he came up with. He looked at it and went, I think this is a better way of doing it, and he put it in place. And I tell you what, I've got like 323 listings, and as I said to you before, I've got 91 follow-ups to do with those free listings, which is very personalized and outreach. So we're dealing with all the premium that we've got come in. That's been happening this week and next week. But we're also going even further with people that are genuinely our new customers. 320 new customers in 2 weeks.
Well, and what's great about that, Richie, is that's 91 inbound leads. Like, you're responding to 91 inbound leads. Like, that's the holy grail.
We've got the 320, and then we've got no response. That's 1,800. We're going to start working through them next week as well to generate exactly the same activity. So this thing, it just keeps on giving, and it just keeps on feeding more and more activity. But I've got 4 activation calls booked in. I did one yesterday, bang, and it was a 5-minute conversation, done, sold. So. That it is just the most wonderful thing for upselling and for cultivating a relationship with people as well. And Chris would be one of the best examples we've seen in Reach of how you take action, get into it, get it done, and look at the results he's having in his business as a result. Yeah,
and just doing it on a consistent basis, right, with not a lot of time. The thing that Chris said that really warmed my heart is like, look, he said RM's been amazing. He said the value he's gotten in relation to the price of the program is amazing. And then a big shout out to the RM team, because he said, the team just way over delivered. So congratulations, Chris. Congratulations, everybody involved there. Excellent, excellent work. So next up, we've got Casey Evans, closed a multi-location HVAC contractor for a new website and marketing package. 22,900 Canadian, so 16,952 American. That is a solid win, right?
Yeah, huge.
Really great. And $21.50 a month for SEO, PPC, social media reputation management on a 6-month commitment.
Yeah, good stuff.
That is a huge win. Excellent work, Casey. That's a combined total of $35,548 for the week of November 25th through December 1st. A grand total since the start of 2023. You, our members of this community, have collected $1,389,122 in closed marketing deals since the start of 2023. Congratulations, everybody.
Awesome.
Excellent work.
I can see that 1.5 just around the corner. I think, we've got 3-4 weeks before Christmas. Let's make it happen.
That's right. We still got a month. We got a month to do it. So, and before we head out of here, we got one more thing to do.
Here comes the money.
Here we go. Money talk.
Here comes the money. Money, money, money.
Dollar, dollar. Dollar, dollar. Ching, bling, bling, got the chatter. You ain't talking money, then you're talking no matter.
All right. I love that song. There.
That Friday without that song.
Fired up to make some money, right? That gets me fired up to make some money. So our winners this week of the Cash App money are Chandra Rowe and Donna Norris. Congratulations. Some Cash App funds coming your way. Sandy Alexander, I saw your message in the feed. I sent it over to the team. Cameron is on it. So we should be getting you taken care of there. So Chandra, Donna, if you can share your Cash App info, the team will get you paid. Guys, thanks for hanging out. I know we went a little over. I hope you got a lot of value out of this show. Go check out the training, offlinesharks.com/revealed. I'll show you how I do everything with the coupon card. You'll see the whole thing. I know you guys will get value out of it. You'll love it. Again, this is a great time to start doing that, because the beginning of the year is that's a time a lot of businesses want to hit the ground running and get the word out. So go check out the training, offlinesharks.com/revealed. We'll see you back here next week. Same shark time, same shark channel.
You've been watching the Aloha Marketing Jam session. We've helped thousands just like you start and scale their businesses. If you'd like our help to grow your business, go to the link on your screen now and let us know how we can help you. Don't forget to like, comment, and share this stream. We'll be back here next Friday for another live show. Until then, aloha.